am with Achim Steiner, who is the Executive Director of the UN Environment Program. Achim, thank you so much for spending time with us. You just got down off of the stage interviewing the President of the Marshall Islands. What are some of the things that you are taking away now from your session with her?
Well, one, that she is the first woman president to ever be elected in the Marshall Islands, and I think it's an impressive history that she must have accomplished to get there. But secondly, you know, here in the United Nations, sometimes we associate geopolitics and big power politics as being the essence of what happens here in New York in the General Assembly. And I think listening to the President of the Marshall Islands, one of the smallest nations, 34 atolls in the Pacific, to some irrelevant to the global economy or to the big politics of the world, and yet here is a nation where the President travels to New York to be at the General Assembly Hall on the occasion of this 2030 Agenda of Sustainable Development being launched, the 17 Sustainable Development Goals, and then tomorrow the signing of the Paris Agreement, because for her nation this is the best hope in these halls and corridors here in New York to be recognized as a nation, even though it's a small one. The future of the Marshall Islands, as the President described it to us, depends on the decisions that are being taken here and the commitments made by the rest of the world actually being implemented. So I think that conversation speaks in some respects to the essence of what the United Nations is about. Every nation has a seat, a vote and a voice here in New York, and sometimes it's the only place where that happens.
And in terms of any surprises, did you learn anything today from the session that you thought, this is new to me and I want to go and I want to share it with others?
Well, I think the President described to me something that I didn't quite anticipate, because if you think of the Marshall Islands, you would think water, water everywhere, and yet not a drop to drink was actually the message that she brought here today. A drought is causing major challenges to providing fresh water supplies, and they now have to actually bring technology in to convert seawater into drinking water. Environmental change, coupled with climatic change in general, is putting this very fragile economy into a very vulnerable position. And I think, how do you as a nation with very little capital, technology, being distant from the rest of the world, how do you cope with that? And I also asked her, do you ever walk from one side of your island to the other, which actually the highest elevation on the Marshall Islands is 2 meters, and envisage what will the Marshall Islands be in the year 2050? Maybe they will not exist any longer. And I think her answers were very thought-provoking.
Terrific.